Hey, what's up? It's Nick Pino. I'm Associate Editor of Home Entertainment at TechRadar, and I'm here with Maxwell McGee from GamesRadar, and we're revisiting Xbox One versus PS4.
We're gonna redraw the battle lines a little bit, because these consoles have been out for like a little over a year now.
Yeah, came out in November 2013.
And we're still waiting on those games, but
yeah,
the boxes themselves have undergone some changes, and we're gonna run through them now.
Let's talk about things at an aesthetic level.
Sure.
Let's start with the Xbox One.
Right.
What do you think about the Xbox One? It's big, it's bulky, it's boxy.
Yeah, so the main thing that gets me between the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 is that the PlayStation 4 is a little bit smaller, so it'll fit more easily into your entertainment center, and the PlayStation 4 doesn't have the sort of bulky power brick that the Xbox One has. And that's something you always kind of forget when you're buying, because you just look at pictures of the consoles and you're like, yeah, they both look fine. But then you realize, oh yeah, the Xbox One, I gotta stick this giant power thing somewhere.
So of the two of them, the PS4 is the one to be able to actually stand up on its side and
right,
like still function.
Yeah, you're not supposed to stand up the Xbox because it like blocks some vents or something. It could cause overheating, damage your system. Whereas yeah, PlayStation 4, you can buy like a friggin' stand to put it on. They are totally comfortable with you standing it up. So yeah, depending on what kind of entertainment setup you guys have, you just have to decide, you know, can I handle laying it flat or do I want to have it standing up?
Let's talk a little bit about the controllers themselves, your primary interface to interacting with your system. Now let's talk a little bit, let's start with the big change here on the triggers. Triggers are force sensitive, so so they have this like kind of rumble feedback into the triggers.
And that's like a really cool feature. It mostly pops up in like driving games and stuff when you're driving over rough terrain. You can feel like the rumbling in the triggers, but otherwise they don't. I really wish like more games would make use of that because it's a really cool feature. How
do we feel about the bumpers themselves? The bumpers,
it's pretty widely accepted that yeah, these L1 R1 bumpers on the top of the Xbox One controller are just not great. They're super shallow. It's real easy to like accidentally slip off and just tap one of them. There's just not a lot of good feedback there, and bizarrely, it's a step backwards from what the 360 had, because the 360 had really nice, you know, firm, responsive buttons, which is what you want in a controller.
Shifting on over here, let's talk a little bit about PlayStation 4. Big difference you'll notice right off the bat is the touchpad. Now, Max, what are you thinking about the touchpad?
Yeah, much like those force feedback triggers on the Xbox One controller, the touchpad doesn't see a whole lot of use either. Sometimes you might have to like swipe up to do a thing, but that's really as much as I've seen the touchpad used in a lot of games. Most of the time, it's just boop, it's a giant button.
Other interesting feature of the controller is that the back lights up here, so it indicates which player you are. On the Xbox One, you have no frickin' idea like what player you are, other than like which character's moving on screen. It does interact with the PlayStation camera, that should be said, and we'll tackle the camera.
Yeah, we'll get to the camera.
I actually thought the L2 R2 very nicely done on this controller. L1 R1 same way. It borrows from Sony's legacy of making these great controllers. Of the two controllers, can we give a winner? Can we give a winner on the controllers?
I have to give it to the PlayStation 4 controller. I think it's got the superior design just because it's such a step up like from the older models of DualShocks. Whereas while the Xbox One controller is great, I use it all the time, feels great. It does kind of step backwards though, like with those L1 R1 buttons from the previous Xbox controller, which is disappointing.
So let's talk a little bit about the cameras of the two systems.
Let's talk cameras. It's a real sad state of affairs.
It's not good. This is going to be the saddest part of our conversation.
It really is. So we've got the Xbox One's Kinect here, which is no longer bundled with the core system.
Now you save money, but if people have any reason to be upset with Microsoft, is that they made us buy this Kinect camera and they said, look, this is the future.
It's gonna be better with Kinect.
Everything's gonna be better with Kinect, and they believed it, and they believed it wholeheartedly, and then they're like, 8 months later, it's like, oh wait.
You know what? It's not. I would say about the coolest thing you can do with it is if you have it plugged in, you can say Xbox on. When you walk into a room and your Xbox will turn on, you can also say Xbox off when you're done, and your Xbox will go into standby mode. That's pretty great. Otherwise, not a whole lot to do. That's not entirely true. I just remembered. If you're gonna be streaming on your console.
Oh, there you go.
You can do a little picture-in-picture action with this guy. But for the games, not so much.
Right. Now, this is the PlayStation camera. It is an add-on. It does not ship with the system. You'll notice right off the bat, it's petite. Sony and PlayStation, they haven't done that much.
Right.
With this, we have the showroom demo of the little robots.
Great.
That sprinkle out into the
that's right.
the little area, the playroom.
I do vaguely remember that like tech demo. Okay.
And we have Pong. So you and I, we could play a 1970s arcade game on our new.
Oh, is this the hand Pong? Where you like?
That's the one where you're using. Is it your hands, or I thought it was a controller?
Oh wow, that's probably.
Whatever it is. Regardless, we're able to play a 1970s arcade game using our new $400 console.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do you remember about how much that guy sets you back then?
Now this is probably, I think it's 50 or 60 bucks. So it's as much as a new game. It's not a huge out-of-pocket expense, but because it doesn't actually do all that much, it's probably best avoided unless you're going to do streaming.
Right.
Those are the two iDevices for both machines.
I think they almost pretty much cancel each other out, really.
This is a no-win.
Yeah, there's no winner in this particular category.
Just losers. All right, so let's talk about the one thing that has really changed about these systems, which is the interface themselves. Right now, Xbox One is using the Windows 8 style tiles.
Tiles everywhere. Tiles for days.
You get a tile.
You get a tile. Everybody's getting tiles. And I will say, personally, I find it a bit easy to get lost in the Xbox interface.
So what's nice is you're able to customize it per profile. So if I want to watch Netflix, you don't want to watch Netflix, we're able to customize our interfaces in
you can have what you want to have right up front, and that's real easy to get to, which is important because if you have to go look for it, you're going to get a little lost.
The big news coming down the pipeline for this, it's getting a huge upgrade. In the fall here, it's going to be upgraded to this kind of new Windows 10 style interface that's going to directly play in with the Xbox app on Windows 10. So anytime you like something on Xbox One, it's going to show up on your PC, and vice versa. You're able to share videos. It's going to be this whole interconnected platform, and that's pretty exciting. So right now I'm kind of lukewarm on the interface.
Right, but potential to get better.
Potential to get better. Let's talk about PlayStation 4's interface.
Speaking of getting lost in your interface.
Yeah,
the PlayStation 4. You have to do a lot of digging on this one too. Like if you want to change any kind of like settings or check your old installs and stuff, you're just going deeper and deeper.
So PlayStation 4 shows you kind of the last things that you've touched. If you've been in a game recently, that will be the first thing that you see. And intuitively, maybe that makes sense, but it doesn't ever give you the widespread view of what's going on your system. That said, I don't know, I do kind of like the two-tiered system of friends and parties. Like, that's all really easy to get to. To check on my trophies, it's easier than it's ever been to check trophies. Let's talk about some of the new apps on each system. So this is actually kind of the highlight, I'd say, of the year-and-a-half point that we're at, is both these systems have received a lot of cool new apps. On the PlayStation side of things, we've seen PlayStation Now, which is like this instant game rental service, all done through the cloud.
Yeah, that's sort of their answer for backwards compatibility, is if you want to play like these older PlayStation games, instead of just like using physical disc, you just sign up for this one streaming service, you get access to this giant library of games immediately.
And there's no downloading, it's just you start it and you're good to go.
Right.
We've also seen PlayStation Vue, which is their cable alternative through Sony. And we also have PlayStation Music, powered by Spotify. Probably one of my favorite features on the system.
Yeah, because you can play music like on top of whatever you're playing in the game, and it'll fit in naturally.
And it's very easy to adjust it, right? I don't need to leave my game to adjust the volume, and I think that's really, really cool. So on the Xbox side of things, we've actually seen EA Access, and we've seen this cable alternative called Sling TV. Sling TV, we'll dive into it super quickly. It's this cable alternative that offers you, around like 15 channels for 20 bucks a month, in contrast to PlayStation Vue, which is kind of this larger service. And then
does if PlayStation Vue, does it follow sort of the tier structure that Sling TV has? Because you can start out like paying 20 bucks, but then you can pay more money to get access to more channels.
Right. EA Access, really quickly, it overlaps with Xbox Live Gold, and you're able to download older games from the vault.
Yep, the EA Vault.
And then have access.
Earlier access
to upcoming games, and they did one of the most well-known examples was Dragon Age Inquisition. They gave it to you 5 days ahead of everybody else. Of them, who do you think's got it on this one?
I mean, I will say I do like, one of the things we didn't quite touch on is I do like the Xbox One solution for backwards compatibility a little bit more, just in that it's baked into the console itself. It's like a free update, a free service they're going to be rolling out gradually, allowing you to play like select Xbox 360 games on your Xbox One. Whereas the PlayStation's alternative for backwards compatibility is that PlayStation Now service, where you pay a monthly fee and you get access to a larger catalog right away. But, you know, free is free. I mean, I guess the PlayStation 4 does give you more options if you're looking to drop some extra money every month on various services. But backwards compatibility, I think, kind of pushes the Xbox over the edge for me a little bit.
I kind of feel that PlayStation has done it better as far as the apps are concerned, at least at this 1.5 year mark.
Right.
It didn't start off as the all-in-one entertainment console. Xbox One did.
Yeah.
But I think
PlayStation's been catching up
very
really
quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. With a music player, with a streaming cable service, game rental service, it really has just been one update after another that have really blown me away. So I've been pretty impressed. Let's talk about the games.
Yes.
This is
the big one.
This is the big one. Of the two of them, I want to say off the top of my head, Sony has had more exclusives, but not more first-party exclusives.
Okay.
I want to say Xbox One, thanks to games like Sunset Overdrive, the Forzas, the Halos that have come out over time. I want to say Xbox has a few more first-party exclusives than Sony has.
A lot of the exclusives you're going to find on both boxes are sort of these long-running legacy series that we've already come to know, like Gears, like Uncharted, like Forza, and things like that. So, you know, unless these are the first two one of the first consoles you're going to be buying, you should already have a pretty good idea of like, am I a Gears guy? Am I an Uncharted guy? You know, which side of the fence do I fall on?
You're going into it with some sort of idea.
Right.
When talking about games, I'm actually going to give the point here. This is a crazy one. I'm going to give it to Xbox One.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah. Now, I think a lot of people disagree with me on this, but one of my favorite games was Sunset Overdrive. I think it was very undervalued.
Right. Very colorful game.
Very colorful. And I think the lineup going forward favors Xbox.
You just want that early access Tomb Raider, don't you?
That's
why you're saying that. You just want to get into Tomb Raider quicker.
I just want Tomb Raider. I want Halo 5. I want Quantum Break. I want Gears 4. I want the next Forza.
Right.
The list goes on and on of the games on Xbox One that I'm really, really excited about. And on PlayStation 4, yes, I'm excited about Uncharted 4. It's a great series, near and dear to my heart.
I mean, I'll agree with that, yeah. Microsoft does seem to do a really good job of they have a really long list of like legacy exclusives for their boxes that are really strong. Whereas I would say perhaps that lineup is a bit weaker on PlayStation, but PlayStation tends to have perhaps a larger variety of games overall.
Let's break into resolutions. Very painful for people. Very painful to hear about this.
Point, this one.
If you're gonna make a comment, you're gonna make a comment about this point right now. On each system, there's a native resolution, and it's usually on these games it's like 720p or 900p on Xbox One games, and sometimes it's 900p or 1080p on PlayStation 4. Usually the PlayStation 4 games have a little bit more foliage or have a little bit more environmental factors. You'll see more cars driving. Now, Microsoft has told us time and time again, DirectX 12 is coming. That could change things. It could be the great equalizer in this debate, but as it stands right now, you're probably going to have slightly sharper games on the PlayStation 4, but you're going to need a magnifying glass. You're going to need to get up close and personal with your screen. Everything considered, I think maybe PlayStation 4 is a better game player without the great collection of games coming to Xbox One.
Right.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with you on that point. Yeah, PlayStation perhaps a little bit beefier, but I would say, yeah, at the end of the day, the game of the game is the game.
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, throw down the hammer. Which one and why?
All right, for me, it's definitely gonna have to be PlayStation 4. It's got a sleeker, smoother design over the Xbox One. It doesn't have that bulky power brick. The controller feels great in your hands. It's an improvement over previous DualShocks in every way. And for me, I mean, the best part about it is the games library. It's got a large, diverse lineup of games, big AAA titles, lots of fun indie stuff. And if you are, feeling generous, want to cough up a little bit more every month, you've got Vue, you've got Spotify, you've got PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Plus to get your free games.
PlayStation Plus, and then, your instant game collection. You're getting free games every month. So there's a lot to be found in that box. There's a lot of variety to be found in the PlayStation 4 box, and that's why it takes the cake for me.
I can see that, and I respect you as an artist. However, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree, and I'm going to go Xbox One on this. Now, you've brought up some points there that I agree with, that yes, it's a bulkier box.
Sure.
The controller may not have knocked it out of the park, but there are still smart designs.
Okay.
Microsoft has made some very smart changes. I do like the control sticks. I do like the HDMI in, HDMI out, that I'm able to pass in my cable box and use this. I'm able to use my controller as a TV remote, basically. I like EA Access. I'm a subscriber to it. And I like the first-party exclusives. I'm looking forward to the game catalog coming here in 2015, 2016. I think it's really strong. I'm an achievement hunter. I'll play Avatar: The Last Airbender for 1,000 points if it puts me up above one of my friends.
You can snap that achievement app just right there on the side of the screen.
And
follow along.
And I watch those Tuplocs come one right after another. That's what I like, and that's the kind of gamer that I am. I like the NFL app. All of these things kind of combine to give me an all-around experience. All that said, the choice is up to you guys.
Right, as always.
Which one do you think is better? Well, I'd like to thank Maxwell from GamesRadar for joining us today on this epic debate, and it's one that will continue, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's going to continue out in the parking lot here once we finish wrapping up the shoot.
For all the news and reviews you need to know about, keep it locked on TechRadar.